In order to take this fraction and turn it into a decimal, you need to divide. You're going to put the top number inside and the bottom number outside. It's always, always, always the top number inside, the bottom number outside, okay? Now, this is why I was kind of pushing you last week to divide and to do decimals. So here we go. We'll take it nice and slow. Does 4 go into 3? No. So you're going to put a 0 on the top of the 3. Then you're going to add a decimal right after it and a 0 right next to the 3. Okay? We're using some long division. You can divide with the multiplication table. I don't have a 3, I now have a 30. Question or answer? So how many times does 4 go into 30? You go to your line of 4 and you find 30. Uh-oh, there ain't no 30. So you look for the number below it. I'm going to use 28. How many times does 4 go into 30? 7. That number goes on top of the 0. 7. 7 times 4, 28. Remainder, 2. We're writing this down, unless you already have the answer. Do I like remainders? I'm going to add another 0. I already have a decimal, so there's no need for another decimal. All right, look at your multiplication table. How many times does 4 go into 20? 5. That number goes on top. That gives me 20. Remainder, 0, 0. Oh, I'm a happy teacher. So my decimal equivalent is equal to 0.75. And I gotta make my arrow bigger. How did I get my decimal? I have to divide. Okay, this week we're going to be dividing a lot. If you want to go home and you watch a YouTube video on long division, because this went a little too fast for you, watch a YouTube video on long division. All right, now we're going to go from a decimal to a percent. Okay, and I have a shortcut for it. Not a shortcut, a trick. Okay, we're going to use the word deep, like deep sea, deep trouble. But we're going to capitalize the D and the P. What do you guys think the D stands for? No. Decimal. What do you think the P stands for? Yes. So the word deep allows us to figure out which way am I going to move the decimal, because we have to move the decimal, and how many times. Okay? Remember, we're going to write everything down. Did you guys put eyes in a smiley face? No. Well, then you get a 0 on your notes today. All right. So this is my decimal, 0.75 or 0.75. To turn it into a percent, you're going to move the decimal 2 times to the right. Because there's 2 E's, and I'm going from D for decimal to P for percent, I'm going to move my decimal 2 times to the right. So we're going to move this 1 and 2. So my percent is 75%. 75%. Close my triangle. So, to me, this is the easiest part. This part is the hardest. This is the easiest. This is the easiest because all you have to do is once you have your decimal, you move it 2 times to the right, D to P, and then you put a percent. Your decimal is back here, but we tend not to write it because it's just in the back. 75%. What does this mean? These are all equal to each other. 75% is 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 is equal to 0.75. 0.75 is equal to 75%. 75% is equal to 0.75. All these are equal. Have you ever gotten a test and you get a 3 out of 4? And you're like, well, what grade is that? Well, it's really 75%. Does anybody know the letter grade for 75%? A C. A C. 75% is actually a C. Yeah. All right. Okay, cool. We're going to work on this part more tomorrow. We're going to work on this part today, the bottom part today. Keep it easy for a Monday. If I have, I'm going to turn a page. I don't have enough room. I mean, if you have enough room, you stay on that page. Again, I write pretty big. If I give you the decimal 0.17, what would be my percent of 0.17? 17%. So 0.17, move it twice, it's 17%. All you have to do is move it twice. Easy enough? Leave the fraction blank for now. We're going to leave this fraction part blank. What if I give you 0.35? 35%, because all you have to do is take the decimal and move it 2 times to the right, 35%. Leave the fraction part blank again. Does that make sense for all of us? Are we okay? This is the easiest part. Not gonna lie, this is the easiest part. Okay, let me give you a hard one. 0.9. Make sure you're doing like the triangle part, because we will. Huh? Yeah, what is it, guys? 9? What is it? 90. 90. How many times do you have to move it? 2. But Miss Amelia, it's just one number. Just one number. Yeah. So even though there is just one number, the word deep is the word deep. 1 and 2. What am I going to add here? A 0. I like to dot it so you know that we added the 0. It wasn't there to begin with. So our percent is 90%. Leave the fraction blank. Okay? So when you have one number, yay, you're still going to move it twice. Okay? Yes, Miss Melanie. Okay, good. What if I go 1.25 as my decimal? How many times do you move it? Twice. So what do you guys get? Yeah. So 1.25, you're still going to move it 2 times, a 1 and a 2, so that gives you 125%. Leave the fraction blank. So make sure you're still creating like these triangles, but we're leaving the fraction blank for now. Are we okay? It's supposed to be easy. All you have to do is move your decimal 2 times, and that's it. All right, let me pause. All right. So now I'm going to do the fraction. Easiest way to do the fraction. Pay attention. Easiest way to do the fraction. The last number. What place value is the 7? The second number, right? It's in the second position. Hundreds. Guess what? That hundreds is your denominator. So, because the 7 is in the hundredths place, that makes it your denominator in your fraction. What's your numerator? Your top number? This number. 17. Well, the whole thing. 17. So you look at the last number. That tells you your denominator. And then this just gets placed on the top. And that's it. If you were paying attention, not messing around, pretty easy. If you were too busy making holes on a paper that already has holes, might be hard. Okay, the next one, 0.35. Look at the last number, the 5. What place value is it on? Hundreds. So that means that your denominator will be 100. This number, right on top. Are you writing this down? I don't know, whoever's not writing this down. Are you writing this down? Then you're cool. If you're not writing this down, you can write it during your break. That's cool. That's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm writing, you're not at the movie theater. You're not here to just watch me. You're here to write whatever I write down. Please. All right. 0.9. Ooh. The 0.9. The 9 is in what place value? 10. So what's going to be our denominator? 10. What's our top number? What? 6? What? Where do you get it? It's a 9. It's a 9. It's not a 6. Terribly difficult? Is this terribly hard?
It's very.
Very. Huh? All you gotta do this. Okay. The next one. What's the 5? In what place? Hundreds. So, my denominator, yes, it's 100 because the 5 is in the hundreds place. What's my top number? 125. You earned some extra credit. Have you ever gotten a score that's more than 100% because they gave you extra credit? That's what it, oh, so sad. That's what it is. Okay. Let's just, what if I give you a decimal point of, what if I go 0.07? What would be my fraction of 0.07? What is this? Where is the place value on 7? Hundreds. So my denominator would be 100. This is a brand new problem, so you have none of this copied down. What's my top number? 7. So you look at the last number. The 7 is in the hundreds place, so that becomes my denominator. And then my top number is just that. We're okay? What would be the percent, since we just did that in the other worksheet? 7%. So you see how you're completing your triangle? We first practiced how to go from here to here. Now we're practicing how to go into the fraction. What if I go 0.1? It's in the tens place. Very good. So my denominator is 10 and just 1, right? Because you take this number, you put it on top. It's the denominator that keeps changing. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 100. We haven't done 1,000, but you might. What's the percent?
10.
Oh, I love it. 10%. You get it. Well, some of you. All of us should. Okay, are we okay with changing a decimal into a fraction? This. If you want to write this down, you can. You know, if you're like, I know when you're going to write this down. After you do this worksheet. Let me pause.